Entering the 2025-2026 season, Liverpool manager Arne Slot introduced a tactical system built on high-intensity synchronization. It was a strategy designed to restore the club to the top of the table, backed by a significant transfer budget to secure the specific profiles needed to make it work. This chart breaks down the record-breaking capital deployed to fulfill those requirements. A massive $125 million went to Alexander Isak, while another $116 million secured Florian Wirtz, a total £241 million investment in just 2 players. The expected return on this level of spending was immediate. With 2 world-class talents added to the attacking rotation, the objective was to defend the Premier League title and ensure a deep run into the final stages of the Champions League. By concentrating such a massive portion of the club's resources into these 2 specific pillars, the board effectively staked the entire season's success on their individual health. It was a strategy that left the squad entirely dependent on their performance, creating a situation where any disruption would be impossible to offset. By April 2026, that strategy had collapsed. After being dumped out of the Champions League quarterfinals by Paris Saint-Germain, Liverpool found themselves eliminated from every major trophy competition. Instead of fighting for titles, the club has been forced to dramatically downgrade its ambitions. With only 6 games remaining, they are now scrambling just to maintain a top 5 berth and secure qualification for next season. To find the source of this failure, look at the minutes played. Across thousands of available minutes this season, the 2 players meant to be the core of the attack have shared the pitch for only 481 minutes. And within that narrow window, they have directly combined to score exactly 1 goal. The 481-minute void was created by a fragmented medical timeline. The 2 star signings were hollowed out by a series of severe physical setbacks that occurred in almost perfect isolation from one another. Alexander Isak's season was disrupted from the start. He arrived not fully fit, suffered a groin problem, and was sidelined by a devastating broken leg shortly before Christmas. That fracture occurred during a match at Tottenham Hotspur. Just as Isak was scoring his 3rd goal for the club, he was caught by Spurs defender Mickey van de Ven, resulting in a serious long-term absence. While Isak recovered, Florian Wirtz attempted to carry the team's offensive burden through the winter months. However, he was eventually sidelined himself by a debilitating back injury in late February. Because their treatment periods happened in alternating stints, the 2 players were never physically available to build form at the same time. While one was regaining fitness, the other was always returning to the treatment room. Returning from months of rehabilitation carries a high performance cost. Even after the injury heals, a player lacks match sharpness, the instinctive speed and conditioning required to compete at the highest level. This pitch map illustrates that lack of sharpness during Isak's recent start against PSG. In 45 minutes of play, he managed just 5 touches of the ball, looking entirely disconnected from the pace of the game. Wirtz has shown a similar post-injury decline. Despite seeing a fair amount of possession against the French champions, he was unable to convert that time on the ball into key chances or goals, struggling to find the clinical edge he displayed in the winter. This physical isolation has destroyed any hope of chemistry. Because they have spent so little time working together on the grass, they often operate like complete strangers, failing to read each other's movements or passing patterns. It is a fundamental breakdown of the manager's tactical plan. Slot's system relies on the 2 most expensive components of his team being in sync, but they have yet to function as a single unit. Liverpool's depth has now reached a breaking point. During the PSG defeat, the club lost its most consistent goalscorer when Hugo Ekitike suffered a suspected Achilles injury. The medical outlook is bleak. If initial reports are confirmed, the 23-year-old striker may not be fit to return to competitive football until 2027. While Slot may consider shifting Cody Gakpo centrally to fill the void, the reality of the squad's situation is clear. With Ekitike out, the primary responsibility for scoring goals now falls exclusively back on the £141 million duo. The club no longer has the luxury of a gradual, controlled return for its stars. With the season on the line, match sharpness and chemistry must now be manufactured live in the middle of high-stakes competition. This forced recovery begins immediately. On Sunday, Liverpool traveled to Everton for a Merseyside derby, where anything less than 3 points could be fatal to their European ambitions. The timeline is rigid. Arne Slot has exactly 6 games left to salvage a Champions League berth from a season that has otherwise failed to meet any of its original targets. If Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz cannot finally find the connection that has eluded them all year, Liverpool faces the prospect of missing out on the Champions League entirely, an outcome that would represent a total collapse of the club's £250 million investment.